To be honest, I think it was like an accident. Like when something happens by accident, you're not prepared for it. And then it's like, yeah.
Yes.
Because you don't want that smoke.
It seems apparent that Steve's persistent defense of Mo stemmed from what Corey Holcomb defines as ingratiating oneself with those in power. Both 50 Cent and Steve Harvey have encountered controversies throughout their careers, yet aside from their differing professions, one glaring difference emerges: 50 Cent has consistently adhered to the truth. Whether through his musical output or his personal lifestyle, 50 Cent is renowned for his commitment to integrity, a quality not commonly associated with Steve Harvey. While one might assume 50's principles would solely apply to his own life, the reality is quite the opposite.
Thought you went about it wrong. See, I felt that you had done yourself a disservice by the way you chose to go about it.
He extends this principle of truth-telling to others, which forms the basis of his current conflict with Steve Harvey, as he appears to finally be addressing the questionable actions Steve Harvey has taken using his influence. Steve may not have directly wronged 50 Cent, but when one is dedicated to upholding righteousness, they're inclined to hold others accountable along the way. Undoubtedly one of the industry's most successful figures, Steve Harvey's power could have been a force for uplifting emerging talents.
I was like canceled, like Monique, why is she canceled? I had to revisit that because it was like, it didn't make sense to me, babe. I'm like, so what did she do? She said something you didn't like? So she didn't work for 13 years after that?
However, contrary to expectations, he seems to have made it his mission not only to hinder the paths of budding entertainers, but also, according to hearsay, to assist another prominent host in their dubious endeavors. While skepticism might arise if such allegations were directed at someone else in the industry, Steve Harvey's track record leaves much to be desired in terms of credibility. It's hardly surprising that doubts about his credibility persist, especially when someone who presents themselves as a relationship guru has endured 3 failed marriages. Leaving aside his personal life, Steve Harvey has repeatedly had opportunities to choose right over wrong on his show, yet consistently opted for the latter, as many anticipated. This was evident once more when a well-known comedian actress sought his guidance regarding workplace issues, only to be publicly dismissed on his show.
Everybody thinks Steve Harvey's some man. No, I'm kissed the old girl who owned TV One. He used to kiss her ass. That's how he had the radio show out here.
Witnessing this, 50 Cent, despite lacking any prior involvement, stepped in to aid the actress. Now, he's escalating his involvement by exposing how Steve Harvey's actions have culminated in a pattern of shielding another controversial figure in their field. As sensational as this tale may sound, many aren't surprised that Harvey may have been orchestrating moves to serve his own interests at the expense of others. Some have even gone so far as to label him as a sycophant, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I should just be grateful I got invited to the party. You a big fat black woman. How dare you be the one? And then on top of that, you're saying names. You're saying Oprah's name out loud.
While Steve Harvey may be one of TV's most accomplished personalities, every aspect of his life choices suggests he may have ascended not solely through hard work, but rather through opportunism. Recall the actress mentioned earlier who sought Harvey's assistance with a problem she faced. That issue happened to involve the other host Harvey is suspected of shielding. The actress in question is Monique, and the individual Harvey may be protecting is none other than the renowned Ms. Winfrey. For Monique, 3 facets of her life are no laughing matter: her marriage, her business dealings, and her integrity. The latter 2 have been contentious topics for her since alleging over a decade ago that she was blacklisted for refusing to undertake unpaid promotional work for the film Precious, which earned her an Oscar in 2010.
And when I heard you go on the air and you said, my sister done burnt too many bridges, and there's nothing I can do for her now. Steve, do you know how hurt I was?
Her expose of alleged misconduct by Winfrey and other entertainment moguls associated with the film resurfaced during an appearance on the Club Shay Shay podcast at the start of February. Monique has long asserted that media magnates colluded to perpetuate a narrative painting her as difficult due to her refusal to exceed contractual obligations. In a recent discussion with Shannon Sharpe, she highlighted how Steve Harvey continued to defend Winfrey despite her recounting her grievances to him. In 2019, she detailed the impact on her career resulting from her fallout with Winfrey and others during an appearance on Steve Harvey's talk show. Clips from their heated exchange have resurfaced following her recent scathing remarks about the industry's treatment towards her. Initially, the actress from The Parkers expressed her dismay at Harvey's comments during his morning radio show, where he remarked that she had burned too many bridges instead of addressing the matter directly with her.
What was coming to me was, this problem that you had in Netflix is rich people problems. Because they looking at us going, you talking about you didn't get millions, or you got this, you ought to be cool.
Later, on television, Harvey elaborated, stating, "I thought you went about it wrong. See, I felt you had done yourself a disservice by the way you chose to go about it." Additionally, The Family Feud host confessed that they eventually had a private conversation, during which he reassured her that she had done nothing wrong by declining to undertake unpaid work. However, he further emphasized, when you tell the truth, you have to deal with the repercussions. We operate under constraints here. We can't behave as we please. We must adopt a different approach. We are engaged in the pursuit of wealth. This is not a game defined by race, it's the game of wealth. In response, she countered, before engaging in the pursuit of wealth, we must uphold our integrity. We have sacrificed our integrity in pursuit of wealth. Virtually everyone sided with Monique and openly expressed their support. A former follower who shared the revived clips remarked, "Monique has been exposing the truth, but nobody was listening. She's a Sagittarius, so I know she means business. And Steve Harvey is untrustworthy." It appears that Monique echoed this sentiment in an interview following the incident, albeit in a slightly more formal manner.
And that causes a ruckus, and you would say, why are people upset with the truth? When you hear Steve Harvey say, there are repercussions when you tell the truth.
Addressing Harvey's guidance on the podcast, she remarked, "It's another example of how the Black community has been conditioned not to confront those responsible for their suffering. We internalize that pain. That's why people take issue with Katt Williams. People have a problem with those who declare, 'I'm going to speak the truth,'" explained Monique. It stirs up trouble, and you might wonder, why are people bothered by the truth? When you hear Steve Harvey mention the consequences of truth-telling, should I lie to receive a reward?
I was like, canceled, like, Monique, why is she canceled? I had to revisit that because it was like, it didn't make sense to me, babe. I'm like, so what did she do? She said something you didn't like? So she didn't work for 13 years after that?
She further remarked, "He is like a brother to me, but we're aware of those who become entangled in this industry and believe they can say and do as they please, expecting no repercussions." How 50 Cent factors into this situation is that he was the sole individual to come to Monique's aid after the fallout. The rapper turned actor, back in 2022, upon learning of Monique's predicament, pledged to assist her in regaining her footing, and he followed through on his promise. Last year, the hip-hop mogul made an appearance on Big Boy's Neighborhood, where he discussed Monique's inclusion in the second season of his Starz series, BMF, and his role in revitalizing her career following allegations of being blacklisted by Winfrey and Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry?
Yeah. When I talked to him, he was like, "Nah, I never told no one not to work with him." And I said, "But you Tyler Perry, and you never told anyone to work with him."
While discussing cancel culture, 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, recounted a conversation with Perry regarding Monique's absence from major roles. He expressed bewilderment over her 13-year hiatus due to something she said. "I know Tyler wouldn't endorse that," 50 asserted. "He never instructed anyone not to work with her. When I spoke with him, he denied ever discouraging others from collaborating with her. He told me, I never saw it that way," 50 continued. "I said, but you're Tyler Perry, and you never actively encouraged anyone to work with her."
Everybody thinks Steve Harvey's some stand-up man. No, I'm a kiss the old girl who owned TV1. He used to kiss her ass. That's how he had the radio show out here.
What 50 Cent did without Monique directly reaching out to him mirrors what she had hoped Steve Harvey would have done, given their close ties and shared industry. Unfortunately, Harvey seemed to prioritize money and influence above all else. It appears that his wealth and power may have been linked to Winfrey, as his dismissal of Monique's claims suggests a higher regard for the famed host, whom many believe was in the wrong. This isn't the first instance where Steve has demonstrated a willingness to curry favor with others to maintain his status and wealth. According to fellow comedian Corey Holcomb, Harvey's entry into the television industry involved ingratiating himself with higher-ups.
When he found out he was getting fired, he cried. Cried on air. Look it up. Yeah.
Holcomb revealed in an old interview that contrary to the common perception of Steve as an upright individual, he initially secured his position at TV1 by pandering to the owner. This demonstrates that this individual is willing to resort to any means necessary to achieve his objectives. Even when faced with Monique's justified grievances, he proceeded to undermine her, displaying a pattern of behavior consistent with his character. However, the situation worsens. Following their heated confrontation on his show, where Monique rightfully accused industry executives like him of unjustly harming her career, he proceeded to invite the very person who had nearly destroyed Monique onto his show.
I never thought of this before. I'm having an aha moment right now.
You got it.
I'm having an aha moment with Steve.
According to reports, Winfrey appeared as a guest on the Steve Harvey show on Monday. During the interview conducted at her network studios in Los Angeles, they delved into various topics ranging from her legacy to the successful series Queen Sugar. The media mogul reminisced with the Baltimore host, reflecting on her journey from the beginning of her career to the conclusion of her show in 2011 after 25 years, and the establishment of OWN. During the same segment of the Steve Harvey show, Winfrey treated Steve Harvey to a personal tour of her network's offices in Los Angeles. During the tour, they stumbled upon a photograph that Winfrey had cherished for 40 years.
I should just be grateful I got invited to the party. You a big fat black woman. How dare you be the one? And then on top of that, you're saying names. You're saying Oprah's name out loud.
The photo depicted a 22-year-old Winfrey during her time working in Baltimore. Surrounding the image were numerous accolades she had earned over the years, including Emmys, People's Choice Awards, NAACP Image Awards, and an Oscar, among others. Winfrey's office lacked sufficient shelf space to display all her awards, prompting Harvey to quip about how his own collection of 2 Emmy Awards for his talk show would occupy little room in comparison.
What was coming to me was, this problem that you had in Netflix is rich people problems. Because they looking at us going, you talking about you didn't get millions, or you got this, you ought to be cool.
For those unfamiliar with the term a-kissing, this was precisely what Steve was engaging in with Winfrey during their interaction. It's worth reiterating that this cozy exchange occurred shortly after Monique's emotionally charged appearance on his show just months prior. Notably absent from their discussion was any mention of Monique, let alone any acknowledgement of how Winfrey may have played a role in her professional challenges. It seems that when one's primary objective is exploiting others, considerations for fairness and integrity are conveniently disregarded. This is why many admirers hold 50 Cent in such high esteem for his willingness to stand up for truth. One user expressed this sentiment, stating, "50 has never spoken a falsehood. It's imperative for our black men to defend and support black women, even when faced with mistreatment from fellow black individuals." Perhaps 50's next move will involve confronting Harvey directly, but only time will tell. That concludes our discussion. Goodbye.